I'd like to call the committee in whole for protection to person and property to order. Does anyone have any pecuniary interests? Delegations and presentations. Mr. Anthony Homick and Steve Webster from JP2G. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us this morning, members of council. I'm going to, as noted, I'm Anthony Homick. I'm a senior planner here with JP2G, and I'm joined by Steve Webster, who's the VP of Civil Engineering, VP of JP2G, and I'm going to turn it over to Steve first to provide more of a high-level overview of what's going on the site, and then I will dig into some of the planning aspects of the proposal.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, so Anthony, am I unmuted? Sorry. Yep. Anthony and I are here today to, talk about the concrete batch plant that is proposed to be installed or constructed on lands owned by Tracy Lance, through a numbered company. So some of the background on the actual concrete plant, batch plant itself. So this is a facility that is being proposed to be constructed to help facilitate some construction work for what's called the ANMRC project at CNL. ANMRC is the Advanced Nuclear Materials Research Center. So it's a large facility that's going to be constructed at CNL probably over the next 4 or 5 years. It does have a nuclear component to it. So what is happening here is Tracy has entered into a lease agreement with one of the contractors on this project called Bird Construction. So Bird want to basically place the concrete batch plant on the lands. They are then going to be using it to produce concrete for the construction of this new facility. The concrete is going to be used throughout this new facility, including some of the nuclear components to provide some shielding for those nuclear components within the building. The building itself, there is going to be a number of different specialized type concrete that is going to be used, including some high density concrete. So really what they want to do, rather than, traditionally, if construction work was happening at CNL, the concrete would have to be either brought in from, there are concrete plants in Petawawa or Pembroke, but that does lead to potential delays. And with this facility itself, there's going to be some very large pours that's going to require, a continuous supply of concrete to complete it. So in order to try and manage that supply, they want to basically have a site that is close to the CNL itself. So, they really can make sure that the trucks do arrive on a timely manner. But I should note that, overall, this project is not going to be really generating any new traffic because, as I said, like if option one would be that all the trucks entering CNL would have to come from Petawawa or Pembroke. So they'd be coming up the highway and, entering the site. In this case, the same number of trucks would still be going towards AACL, but instead of coming down the highway, they would just be coming from this site itself. So it shouldn't increase the traffic on the neighboring roads. This plant is a portable plant. It's currently being constructed in Finland, specifically for this project. And there would be the ability to, once this project is completed, that it could be moved to another site at a later date. So that's kind of a quick overview on kind of why, what the need for the plant is and kind of some of the history behind it. So I'll pass it back to you, Anthony, if you want to kind of maybe talk about some of the planning aspects on this application.
Sure. Thanks very much, Steve, for the overview. So just to touch on some of the planning and site design considerations that went into the application. The overall site, Tracy's property, is 120 acres. And the batch plant area itself is proposed to be about 3.5 acres of that site. It will be accessed by a driveway off Plant Road that comes in beside the Bell substation, the Bell building there that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. The site itself, the entirety of the site, is designated Village Community Exception 4 in the County of Renfrew official plan. And the Village Community Exception 4 designation is specifically for the Chalk River Business Park. And the business park designation is intended to promote a mix of commercial and industrial uses. And it is specifically limited to dry industries, which means low water uses. And one of the elements of this, the proposal is that the batch plant will actually be water for the concrete will be trucked in. And so it's not going to be a large draw of water. So that complies with that official plan provision for the site. With respect to zoning, the site is split zoned between highway commercial and rural. And the highway commercial obviously being the portion of the site, there's a small portion of the site, maybe about 20%, that is closer to the intersection of Plant Road and the highway that is designated highway commercial, but the bulk of the site is designated rural. And the rural designation permits temporary concrete or asphalt plants as a permitted use. And so just to kind of echo what Steve mentioned, the intent is that the plant is temporary, meaning that it can be relatively simply disassembled and moved on to another site when it is no longer needed. So the location of the batch plant has been, as I said, located entirely within the rural zone and has also been very carefully positioned to exceed the minimum required separation distance from any residentially zoned properties in the area. And that minimum separation distance is 300 meters. So the batch plant is located roughly, kind of one corner is touching Reggie's garage. So if everybody knows where Reggie's garage is on the highway, it's kind of tucked in behind Reggie's garage. And so it's exceeds 300 meters from the residentially, the houses that are on Plant Road, as well as the mobile home park. So those were the key considerations of the zoning bylaw with respect to where to locate the site to have as little impact as possible on neighboring residences in terms of potential noise and potential dust and that sort of thing. And there's obviously significant amount of trees on the site that do provide buffer between the plant location and those houses on Plant Road and the mobile home community. And just kind of touching on where we're at in the process. So we have submitted a site plan control application that is currently being reviewed by town staff and the assistance with county planning staff. The site plan control application, as some of you may know, is now a delegated approval to staff. Approvals for site plan no longer go through councils. So that's why we're working with town staff and county staff. And with respect to the actual startup of the batch plant itself, there is a requirement to get ministerial approval, from the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks for an ECA, an environmental compliance approval. So that in order to get that approval, it's a significant process and a very robust process with the province. It can be a very lengthy process, but as part of that, there have been noise and odor studies, noise and traffic, that have been prepared and submitted to the ministry for their review. So that's kind of an overview of where we're at. And I think both Steve and I are happy to answer any questions that council may have here this morning.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for JP2G today? Mayor?
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's nice to know what is going in there, and also good to know that all the studies and requirements are being done, and that it is an acceptable use of the property. So thank you for doing this for us.
Councillor Blimpie?
One thing I took away from this, and it's really good to know to tell residents, is that you're expecting this not to be any more traffic, you know, by this plant than what would come from Pembroke or Petawawa delivering concrete all the time. Because I would think that would be, you know, a big concern of residents. So that is really good to know and something that we can pass on to our residents. And I think it might help them a little bit. How long do you think the process will take with the province?
Typically that can be 6 to 8 months, or I guess, sorry, 6 to even up to a year. Really what the intent is at the moment is like the plant itself can still be constructed. So the intent would be this spring to start construction on the plant. There are some foundations that are required. The plant itself is actually, it's really comprised mainly of a bunch of sea cans that are then put together, because as Anthony alluded, it is a portable plant. So you will be seeing construction activity out there through the spring and summer, basically getting everything installed. It's just you know, the formal start up of the plant needs to have to wait to the that ECA approval. So, you know, I guess hoping that we'd see the start of the plant probably late summer, early fall. But really we're kind of somewhat contingent on the province at the moment.
So with the fact that you're going to start putting the plant in there, you don't anticipate any approval problems?
No, I mean, there's always a risk, no question. There is a risk of doing that, but you know, I think right now from all the studies that have been done in support of the application, you know, there's a number of precautions that have been made with regards to noise and other issues. So, you know, we believe, you know, if there are any comments that do come back from the ministry, that those can be mitigated and it won't really impact the actual siting of the facility. But yeah, there is some risk, but you know, but right now, you know, there is a need. The construction of the ANMRC building has already started on site. You know, so right now there is concrete already being delivered for that project, and it is coming from Pembroke, I believe. So, you know, the intent from the contractor is to try and get the facility up and running as soon as possible in order to help them with some of their production. But, you know, so right now we are somewhat contingent on the ministerial approval.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? Thank you very much for your discussion this morning, and look forward to hearing back from you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. And if there are any other questions that do come up or come to you after this, feel free to pass those along to Sherry, and she can pass them on to Steve and I, and we can answer any other questions that you guys may have. So thanks again for having us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good. All right, we'll move on now to fire department. Fire chief's report. Any questions, concerns for Chief Wado? Mayor.
So Kevin, I have a question about the equipment failure rate. Is that normal amount of failure? Like you had 10 face masks and 9 bunker gear. Is that kind of the norm?
No, it's not a norm, but the company we had in doing our breathing apparatus, they seem to be in a rush this year, and it was a new person who was doing it. Not happy with them at all, so I sent all that equipment out to another company that I dealt with before, and they just called me yesterday, and then again this morning. They're shipping everything back. The one BA that was sent out, it was put back together incorrectly, so there's no charge for that. And the face pieces, the text that I got from the technician was there was only a few of them that had minor deficiencies. So it was really good. As far as the bunker gear goes, that's normal wear and tear on the bunker gear. It's not a large cost. It says that we had 9 pieces or 10 pieces fail. A lot of it is as simple as somebody sit on the tailboard of the truck and put a little puncture in their bunker gear. It's not quite long or not quite short enough, and it wore the cuff. They're very particular when they check this bunker gear, so it's always once a year. It's 100%, and then anytime we go into a structure fire, we send it in and get it tested and cleaned again, so that it's always 100% for you to go into a building.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm assuming, and I'm, maybe stupid question, but I'm sure you have backup gear and all of that without these, if a bunch of them do fail?
We have some backup gear and we have some backup phase pieces. The company that we get our gear cleaned from, they're really good. I've been dealing with them ever since this came into effect, that we had to get it cleaned and checked all the time. And they always have some gear that we could always rent from them or borrow.
Okay.
And as far as the BAs, the company that we bought them from, I went back to them for the testing. And I needed 2 small phase pieces because of these ones that were sent out. And I got 2 used ones at a very good price. So
You're happy with
you have
that?
enough connections
Yeah.
that we can look after things. Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions? Thanks, Cal. Building department, the building inspector's report for February. Questions? No, it's blank. That's what I mean.
Site inspections and responded to 32 emails.
And no promises.
No building permits, which is probably more.
Moving on, emergency preparedness. Have we heard anything?
Nothing to report on that.
Great. Moving on, police.
So I did meet with the detachment commander, Inspector Steph Neufeld.
Newfield, yeah.
He came here for face-to-face with me, and it was nice to talk to him and get his vision and what's going on with the OPP. Made it clear that he's very receptive to any issues that we have, and he's quite approachable. So I believe next month he will be coming and giving us a presentation on the year to date for 2022, and it'll be another opportunity to ask him any questions that we have. Thank you.
Other business. Nothing for a closed session, so I'll adjourn at 10:18.
So I'd like to call the committee of the whole for public works to order. Any declarations or pecuniary interest? Seeing none. So you have Scott's report on the roads for the month of February. Any questions? Mayor Giardini?
Not a question, just a comment, Scott. I know that we have a lot of volunteers that work on our outdoor rinks, and quite a short season this year, but I think it went well, and just an appreciation for all those people that do all the work and all the support that you give them as well. Thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Just bear with me till I get over here. Okay, so nothing else of correspondence. Thank you from David Lee or Mr. David Lee. I have a question maybe for Sherry on that one. Do you know how long he's been sending that letter? No, I've been here since 1990, and he's been sending that letter since I got here.
I think he recognizes the department.
Yeah, but he has been for like 30 years or more, which is really nice.
It is definitely.
Yeah.
And good work, Scott. Streetlights, I have nothing. Water and sewer, I have nothing at this time. Waste sites, we're having a meeting April 4th with the Town Deep River. Any questions on that one? No. Airport, oops.
Can I just ask, sorry.
Yeah.
Do we have representatives from the public on the board now? Like, I wasn't here at the last meeting, so.
So I believe that's on the agenda.
Oh.
There are nominations from both Deep River and
Okay.
Laurentian Hills.
So we will talk
Yeah,
about it.
that'll
further
be,
on.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll bring you back a report probably next month, probably add. Airport, Mayor Giardini.
So there's been no meeting since our last council meeting, and our next scheduled meeting is Thursday, April 20th.
Other business, seeing none, closed session, none. Adjournment. Hopefully the water doesn't do you a whole lot of damage, Scott. It's gonna melt.
It's a slow melting.
It's been good so far.
Adjourn at 10:21. Thank you.
I'd like to call to order the committee of the whole, community and social services. I need declaration of pecuniary interest. Oh, I'll start again. Thank you, Sean. Call to order the committee of the whole, community and social services. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? None. No delegations or presentations. The library, we have minutes or reports for January from both libraries attached, if you have any questions on that. Yeah, Mayor?
A comment that it looks as though our circulation has almost doubled
Yeah.
this year from the past couple of years, and that's really good to see, and that's at both libraries.
It's really picked up, and I know both the librarians are working hard. They have a number of little things going on, like reading groups and online reading and stuff like that. So they've worked through the COVID crisis, and we're back up and running, and that's good. It's
Yeah.
good news.
Any update on the position for the head
Yeah, so I was
librarian?
going to go through that. They've hired 2 casual, and they're going to do some training. One of them, is going to train and could have some promising, outlook in the future for Maureen's position. Maureen is going to stay on during the time, and definitely thank goodness we've had Maureen. She's stayed on a lot longer than we ever anticipated. So, and then we have the other casual is a student we've had for a number of years. I would say approximately 3 to 4 years now. And she'll help out a lot at the Chalk River Library. Another thing that came up at the meeting last Monday was all board members have to do, and staff with the library have to do an accessibility training course. It's mandatory. So Maureen has sent the link out for us on that, and we'll all complete that. No word on summer student grants. We're updating a couple of policies. So that's what's been going on at the library, business as usual. Anne?
So just looking forward, if we have casual librarians, does this affect how we get represented at the higher ups like Souls or anything like that?
Well, I'm not absolutely positive, but I'm suspecting that, or anticipating that with the casuals and training, the idea is for Maureen to eventually leave, so that one of those casuals, if they train and get into that position, will take on her position full time. So we will always have a full-time person to represent us at Souls. That's my my anticipation. So any other comments or whatever? Nothing. So recreation, as Mayor Giardini has said, the 3 rinks were up and running in a short season, but very thankful to the volunteers. And speaking about volunteers, I'd like to, put out there that, we've missed the boat a couple of years on volunteer recognition. I'd like to discuss it at budget time, if we can put it on our list again. I mean, with COVID and whatever, it was a little hard, but I anticipate this year it might be a little easier to do something to recognize all our volunteers. So I would like to add that to budget talks.
So as you mentioned, volunteers, there are so many, well, quite a few programs that recognize volunteers that we're always made aware of. So I just urge us all to, as we notice volunteers in our community, just write them down so that when we do have the opportunity for recognition, that we can take advantage of them. Okay, just a suggestion.
Sure.
Thanks.
I wasn't at the last meeting, but I did watch it on YouTube, and I see that our recreation committee in the town, in the municipality, has been, put forth and approved. So we do have a up and running community recreation committee. So I would like to have a meeting with them to find out what their plans are and their needs and the support they require. And I was hoping to maybe have a meeting with them. And Sherry, is this something that you can organize for us?
I believe that's the chair is the person that organizes.
Okay.
these meetings in the terms of reference.
Okay, perfect. Then that would be Charlene, right? Yes.
And I believe she has plans for future.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I think that's it. I attended a couple of events at the Legion and the Recreation or the Lions Club Hall in the last few weeks, you know, in support of some of the things they're doing. I urge everybody to get out and, you know, support these two community social places because, you know, they're very important to our town, I believe. Nothing for Resource Center, Nursery School, nothing other business, nothing, sorry, Bruce? Sorry.
Can I add one to your thing? The museum is doing a monthly chili thing every weekend, and this will be the last weekend. And it's really, really good.
Yeah, good point. Dan actually mentioned that to me yesterday, so I think I'll go out Saturday.
I've been
to
out
that.
3 times and I
Yeah.
plowed for them, and it's really
Yeah.
good.
Thanks for mentioning that. I'm sorry I forgot about that one. Yeah,
It's nice because you just drive through, they come out, they take your order, then they bring it to you and then you're off and it's,
Mhm.
you know,
yeah,
chili bun and a dessert and a drink and it's
Yeah.
really cheap.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another, you know, group that we, you know, as a town,
Yeah.
township should be supporting as
Yeah.
much as we can.
And they're
for
very
sure.
thankful for your business.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, and the chili's delicious.
Thanks, Bruce. Nothing for Resource Center Nursery School, other business closed session, and we adjourn at 10:27.
Okay, I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of council for Wednesday, March 22nd at 10:27. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Delegations and presentations, we had the JP2G presentation earlier. Adoption of minutes. Moved by Brenda Blimke, seconded by Gary McNulty. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council of the 23rd of February 2023 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Standing committee reports, moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Bruce Boucher. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Protection to Persons and Property of 23rd of February 2023 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Gary McNulty, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Planning of 23rd February 2023 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Public Works, 23rd of February 2023, be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Brenda Blimke, seconded by Gary McNulty. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Community and Social Services of the 23rd of February 2023 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Brenda Blimke, seconded by John Hoyle. Be it hereby resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Finance and Personnel of the 23rd of February 2023 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Any business arising from the previous minutes? None. Other reports? There are none. Mayor's update. So this is from the period February 24th to March 23rd. So on the first, I attended the regular county council meeting. On the second, you attended the Renfrew County District Health Unit and the Medical Officer of Health regular meeting. March 7th, I had the face-to-face with the detachment commander, Steph Neufeld, to get to know him. March 8th, I attended two international Women's Day events. The first one was in Pembroke as a guest of the warden. He had invited all the female representatives at the council table for the county of Renfrew. We had lunch at Anthony's in Pembroke, and there were some speakers there. And then the evening, I attended with Deputy Mayor Blimke at the Deep River Legion. And both events, they had, interesting speakers. The meal was good and great company. We sat with our fellow councillors and mayors from Head Clare, Mariah, and Deep River. It was quite an interesting evening. On the 20th, I attended the Finance and Administration meeting at the county. On the 21st, we attended, along with Councillor Boucher, a tour of the Desjardins generating station. And today is the regular committee and council meetings. And this afternoon, I will be delivering Meals on Wheels as part of our community engagement program with a member of the Deep River Council. Any questions on that? No? Did you have any?
No,
Deputy Mayor? No.
I was at the generating station yesterday too. I don't think you mentioned.
Oh, I'm
that. Yeah.
sorry. You were, yes. Yeah.
No, I was too short.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Brenda,
that's
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I found it to be a really, really good tour. And the staff there I found were very upbeat and so welcoming, and it was good. I enjoyed it.
And young. Brenda, they were young.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So bylaws, there are no bylaws. Approval of accounts, nothing, no petitions. Correspondence, we have action items. First one is a resolution from Chatham-Kent regarding support of Bill 5, Stopping Harassment and Abuse by Local Leaders Act. Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that the resolution from Chatham-Kent regarding support of Bill 5, Stopping Harassment and Abuse by Local Leaders Act be filed or endorsed. Any comments?
I'd like to file that one.
Thank you. I would like to file it as well.
Okay. All in favor of filing? Item B is a resolution from Chatham-Kent regarding reducing municipal insurance costs, moved by Brenda Blimke, seconded by John Hoyle. Be it hereby resolved that the resolution from Chatham-Kent seeking support and coloration on improvements to municipal insurance costs in Ontario be filed or endorsed. Any comments?
I'd like to endorse that. I think it's important to all municipalities with our insurance.
You guys endorse? Yeah. All in favor of endorsing?
100%.
First carried. Yeah.
Just as a comment, maybe on that, maybe if municipalities drive that forward, it'll reduce insurance and other, like your home insurance, my business insurance, because I think that's there's only teeth in so many.
Yeah. Okay. Item C is a resolution from Niagara Region regarding motion respecting declarations of emergency for homelessness, mental health, and opioid addiction. Any questions or comments?
Anybody else? No. I would
All in
like to
favor
endorse
of
it. Yeah.
endorsing?
Mhm.
All in favor of endorsing? Carried. Item D, resolution from the town of Cobourg regarding homeless and unsheltered persons. Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that the resolution from the town of Cobourg regarding homeless and unsheltered persons and the need for immediate action from the province of Ontario to develop resources and implement a comprehensive plan to prevent, reduce, and ultimately end homeless in Ontario be filed or endorsed. Any comments? Endorse. All in favor of endorsing? Carried. Item E is the resolution to the province of Ontario on homelessness, and this has been encouraged by AMO, and this is our suggestion from our municipality. Moved by Bruce Boucher and seconded by Brenda Blimke. Please be advised that the Town of Laurentian Hills Council at its meeting held the 22nd of March 2023 adopted the following. Whereas the homeless crisis is taking a devastating toll on families and communities, undermining a healthy and prosperous Ontario. Whereas the homelessness crisis is the result of the underinvestment and poor policy choices of successive provincial governments. Whereas homelessness requires a range of housing, social service, and health solutions from government. Whereas homelessness is felt most at the level of local government and the residents that they serve. Whereas municipalities and district social administrative boards are doing their part, but do not have the resources, capacity, or tools to address this complex challenge. And whereas leadership and urgent action is needed from the provincial government on an emergency basis to develop, resource, and implement a comprehensive plan to prevent, reduce, and ultimately end homelessness in Ontario. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Laurentian Hills calls on the provincial government to urgently acknowledge that homelessness in Ontario is a social, economic, and health crisis, commit to ending homelessness in Ontario, and work with AMO and a broad range of community health, Indigenous, and economic partners to develop, resource, and implement an action plan to achieve this goal. And further, that a copy of this motion be sent to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Minister of Children, Community, and Social Services, the Minister of Health, and to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Any comments on this? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item F is a resolution from the municipality of Calvin regarding the Public School Boards Association. Moved by Gary McNulty, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that the resolution from the municipality of Calvin regarding the Public School Boards Association asking for an end of the moratorium on most pupil accommodation reviews be filed or endorsed. Any comments?
I'm not quite clear on this one. Can Sherry add anything to it, or do you know much?
This is the resolution regarding the Public School
Or
Boards
anybody else
Association.
that has a bit more in-depth understanding of what they're really asking for? I don't,
So they're asking for a moratorium,
which is,
so that they're not closing small schools due to population, that those schools will remain open because in the future that population could once again be higher.
Okay. Okay, that is better explanation from all of this. Thank you.
So as I read the resolution here, it says asking for an end of the moratorium.
Yes, so there's a moratorium.
There is one on
that,
now.
So they want that to end so that schools will stay open.
Yeah, they're just gonna cut it out. Okay. All in favor?
I'd like to endorse it.
Endorsing? Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that all items of correspondence be filed. All in favor? Carried. So we have 3 information items. The first one is thank you from the Community Engagement and Fundraising Coordinator, Mr. Thompson, regarding the success of the curling bonspiel. And I'd like to thank Lori McMahon from our staff for attending with her family and representing us. They had a good time, I understand. Yeah. So thank her for representing us there. The second one is regarding Via Rail Services. And the third one is the County Council summary from County of Renfrew. No comments on those? Okay. Unfinished business. We have a resolution regarding the boat launch funds to recreational development. Ms. Batten.
Sorry, at the last meeting, it was decided to put those boat funds in a reserve, in a specific reserve. We didn't have to establish another reserve because we have a recreational development reserve. And so that's what your resolution is, to transfer those so that the interest is higher on what it is getting currently.
Sorry, I should have read the resolution first. So moved by John Hoyle and seconded by Brenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read the resolution first, and then we'll get your question. Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Brenda Blimke. Be it hereby resolved that this council of the town of Laurentian Hills authorizes staff to transfer $281,125 from the 2022 recreation budget surplus for the boat launch project to the town's recreational development reserve fund. Comments, questions?
Just so, again, that amount, the 281,000, that's specifically going to be in there specifically for the boat launch, though it's not going to be used. That's all I wanted to make sure that that's there for the boat launch. Perfect.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. New business. We have a discussion on committee council meetings and then the format.
So that is staff asking for direction. Are we going to open council chambers back up to the public? Are we going to allow presentations to continue via Zoom or in person? And are we staying at our current times and days, or what is the future meetings going to look like?
Anybody want to roll it, get in on that? I can.
If nobody else wants to start, I'll go for it. Give you an opportunity before I speak. I like this time of day, 10 o'clock, but I'm totally open to opening up to the public and keeping, I don't know if I'm crazy about keeping Zoom. If we open up to the public, do we still do our online?
No. So if we open up to the public can attend. What we're using Zoom for is if you have a presentation like you had this morning, that they have the option of doing it via Zoom instead of having to come to the council meeting.
So if we have council meetings and we're open to the public and we don't have any Zoom, we don't do this.
That's correct.
Okay, so I'm perfectly fine with that, but leaving Zoom as an option if somebody can't attend. Also, I mean,
Council members also.
Exactly. Yes, that's right. I was just going to say that, you know, it's open to the, as well for that, so we can keep this up and running. That's my thoughts.
Any other?
I agree. I like your thoughts. No, I like going back to the public.
Yeah. I think it's time.
So if we open up to the public and we still permit Zoom, are the meetings recorded?
No.
No. Okay, I might have missed that in the conversation. Okay, and I like the 10 o'clock meetings as well. Councillor.
I'm fine with the 10 o'clock meeting. That's not an issue. If we don't record, if there's a Zoom, like if we're not going to go to stay with Zoom and we're not going to record this presentation we had this morning, would that be available to the public online? Because they're coming in via Zoom.
So their presentation typically can be in paper format as well. That would be available.
Councillor Hoyle.
I agree with it all, but I think that we should continue to record the meetings. On a personal note, I think there's people that don't come to the meetings but watch them. And I think that's important that we continue to do that. That's my own personal opinion. Because I've had several people that said that they watched them at a later date or whatever. So I think it's good to record them.
Well, having said that, John, if you don't mind, I'm going to have to agree for that. That's a good point you make. But also, I found myself actually going back on meetings several months ago just to reconfirm for myself what had gone on at the meeting. So that is a good point. I'm okay with that.
Do you want us to bring back costs for doing that? Because there are costs associated with doing that.
Sure.
As long
Sure.
as everybody
Councillor
else is in
McNulty?
agreement.
No, I agree, because I know there's some residents in the village that go away in the winter. And they watch the council meetings when they're away. So, and I think that's great. I think it's a great option that they want to stay involved. They want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think it's a service that we should
I
provide.
agree.
Okay, so we'll table this until we get a cost for this, or?
So direction is to open to the public for the next meeting? Is
Yes,
that what
yeah,
I'm getting?
That's a, yes. That's a-
And you want the cost brought back to that because are we streaming? Because that's what we're currently doing now, or are we just recording and having that uploaded to YouTube?
Ooh. Okay, Councillor Hoyle.
Can we get a price for both and see what, and if it's not much difference, then
I think right now streaming is about $300 a meeting.
okay.
I would assume that YouTube would be free or Google would be free.
So if we record it, we would still need Sean's assistance to upload that to our YouTube channel.
Okay,
Yeah, he would still edit it the way he does now. And he said he's available for questions.
okay.
So would we want to table it till the next meeting? and
Well,
talk
no,
to
I think
Sean,
we,
or-
Well, I
as
think we're
Sarah,
gonna go back to open, my understanding is
Yeah.
we're gonna go back to open to the public at our next meeting. It will continue to be at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. And we'll bring back the costs at the next meeting
Okay.
at the beginning for discussion
Sounds good.
as to whether we're gonna report it, how we would do it, what that cost would be.
okay, thank you. I have nothing for closed session. Sorry, I do have a,
I didn't see economic development on here, so I just thought I'd bring you up to date. The person that often counts the sleds at the ESO is over 2,440 sleds this year.
Nice.
So that's a big economic development for the area. Because they all stay, and they don't get all the sledders, right? How many people fueling up? So it's just amazing how many people are out there.
Well, I think you mentioned a meeting or two back about how many people were parked at the business park at one point and how many skidoos were actually out and about because of that.
Actually, all our parking rides are full. Deep
Yeah.
River, Ralston, and
So, yeah, because I know you had mentioned that before, so.
Councillor McNulty.
As a snowmobiler, I know we went up north, we did a bunch of trips and it's the accessibility. The municipality, I think, has done a good job at allowing sleds to be accessible to the areas. They don't want to travel the streets, but it's a means to an end. Sometimes we're trying to get to a hotel or something. You got to drive down a sidewalk to get there, but I know other municipalities struggle with the fact that ATVs are on their streets and they don't like it, et cetera, et cetera. But I think this municipality has done a good job in allowing the accessibility of these sleds to get to our commercial providers. Yeah. Excuse me.
Thank you. Okay, I have nothing for a closed session. No motions and notices of motion. So the confirmatory bylaw moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Brenda Blimke, be it hereby resolved that bylaw number 07-23, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Laurentian Hills meeting held on March 22nd, 2023, do now be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Gary McNulty, seconded by Brenda Blimke, be it hereby resolved that this meeting of the Council of the Town of Laurentian Hills do now adjourn at 10:50 a.m. All in favor? Carried.